Hi, JK here. Welcome to part 2 of A Fox's New Journey. In part 1, we left off where the wolf offered his paw to the fox in his time of greatest need. And now, in part 2, we're going to find out what happens next. So, if you're ready and in the mood for soft-spoken storytelling with visuals and background ambiance, then let's sit back and enjoy. And so we begin A Fox's New Journey, part 2, Sanctuary.
For several long seconds, I simply stare at his paw, at him, at the impossible situation I find myself in. My entire body is still trembling, partly from the cold, partly from the fear, partly from the exhaustion. The emotions are so tangled together now that I can no longer separate them. Another shiver runs through me. My shoulders shake. The wolf notices. Its crimson eyes soften again, and then very slowly he lowers himself. One knee touches the wet earth, then the other. The movement surprises me. His already calm presence somehow becomes even gentler, smaller, less intimidating. He is still larger than me, still powerful, still broad-shouldered and muscular, but he now no longer towers over my hiding place. Now he meets me closer to eye level. The gesture feels intentional, as though he understands exactly how frightened I am, as though he is trying to tell me that I do not need to fear him. The rain whispers around us. Water drips from the leaves above. My ears twitch nervously. A tiny sound escapes my throat. A whimper. Soft. Embarrassingly soft. The sort of sound I haven't made since I was much younger. The moment it leaves me, I wish I could take it back. But the wolf doesn't react negatively. If anything, his expression softens further, and then I see it. A smile. Not a grin, not amusement, not mockery. Just the faintest crack in the seer's expression he has worn since emerging from the darkness. Small, warm, gentle. The effect is immediate. Those vivid crimson eyes still catch what little light exists beneath the storm clouds. Still striking, still impossible to ignore, yet now they seem entirely different. Moments ago they belonged to a stranger emerging from the darkness. Now they hold something softer, something protective, something reassuring. I don't understand why. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came from. I don't know what he wants. But for the first time since our eyes meet, my fear loosens its grip. Just a little. Enough. My gaze drops toward his offered paw, large, strong, steady, still waiting. The rain patters softly against the leaves overhead. My heart pounds inside my chest. I take a shaky breath, then another, slowly, carefully. I begin to move. Every muscle protests. My body feels stiff from crouching, cold from the rain, heavy from exhaustion. Yet somehow I manage it. I reach out, tentatively. My paw trembles the entire way. Then finally, contact. Warm. The wolf's paw closes gently around mine. Not tightly, not possessively, simply securely. The warmth catches me completely off guard. After hours of cold rain, the sensation feels almost unreal. For a brief moment, I simply stare at our joined paws. Then the wolf carefully helps me stand. The motion is effortless for him. My own legs wobble immediately. The world tilts slightly. Dark spots flicker at the edges of my vision. The wolf steadies me before I can stumble. Again, his grip remains gentle, patient, reliable. When I'm finally upright, he releases my paw and gestures toward the deeper forest. An invitation, the same invitation as before. Come with me. I hesitate only a moment. Then I nod. The movement is tiny, barely noticeable, yet the wolf seems to understand. Together, we begin walking. The forest swallows us almost immediately. Rain continues to fall, branches sway overhead. The river murmurs somewhere in the darkness. The wolf moves beside me rather than ahead of me. close enough to help if I stumble, far enough that I don't feel crowded. For a while, neither of us makes a sound, only footsteps, soft splashes through mud, gentle rustling grass, rain tapping against leaves. The sound creates a strange rhythm, almost soothing, almost enough to distract me, almost. But my body is reaching its limit. The adrenaline that carried me through the day is fading. Every step feels heavier. My stomach aches with hunger. My legs burn with fatigue. The cold seems to have seeped all the way into my bones. I try to hide it. I don't want to appear weak. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want this stranger regretting whatever kindness he's chosen to show me. So I keep walking. One step, then another, then another. But eventually my body decides for me. My vision blurs, my knees buckle. A wave of dizziness crashes over me. Suddenly, I am falling. The wolf reacts instantly. One moment, I'm collapsing. The next, strong arms catch me. The forest spins, the rain blurs, and something inside me finally breaks. The tears come without warning. Hot, relentless. I don't even try to stop them. Everything I've been holding back since this morning pours out all at once. The terror, the grief, the loneliness, the exhaustion, the uncertainty, the realization that there is nothing left to return to. A broken sound escapes me, then another. Soon I am openly crying. The wolf immediately kneels beside me. Not startled, not annoyed, not uncomfortable, just concerned. For a moment I expect him to help me stand again. Instead, he does something completely unexpected. With remarkable care, he slips one arm beneath my knees, the other behind my back. Then he lifts me, effortlessly, as though I weigh almost nothing. The motion is smooth enough that it barely jostles me. One moment I'm collapsing into the mud. The next I am safely cradled against his chest. I freeze in surprise. My tears continue. My breathing remains uneven. Yet despite everything, I feel safe. The wolf rises easily. His powerful frame barely seems affected by my weight. The steady strength of him is impossible to ignore. The broadness of his chest, the firmness of his arms, the absolute certainty in every moment. Not once does he appear strained. Not once does he appear inconvenienced. He simply adjusts his hold slightly to make certain I'm secure. Then he continues walking. The forest drifts around us. Rain whispers overhead. The world sways gently with each of his steps. I find myself curled instinctively closer, seeking warmth, seeking stability, seeking something familiar in a world that no longer feels familiar at all. His body radiates heat, real heat, not imagined, not remembered, actual warmth. After so many hours spent shivering, the sensation feels incredible. His thick charcoal fur is still damp from the rain, yet beneath it, there is warmth. Steady, comforting, alive. The kind of warmth that reaches places deeper than skin. My ears lower, my eyes close briefly. The sobs gradually soften, not because I feel better, not because the grief has disappeared, but because I no longer feel completely alone beneath it. The realization confuses me. This wolf is still a stranger. I know nothing about him. Nothing. Not his name, not where he's taking me, not why he found me, not why he chose to help. For all I know, he could be carrying me towards somewhere I've never even heard of, a destination hidden somewhere beyond the endless darkness of the forest. And yet, his arms remain careful, his movements remain gentle. Each step is steady, measured, protective. The rain continues falling around us. The forest continues breathing around us. And as the wolf carries me deeper into the night, cradled securely against his powerful frame, I slowly realize that for the first time since the village burned, I am no longer facing the darkness by myself. For a moment, I lift my head. My eyes find his face. The wolf is already looking down at me. Rain slides from the end of his ears. Tiny droplets cling to the fur along his muzzle. His crimson eyes meet mine immediately. Not searching, not questioning, simply checking, making sure I am still there, making sure I'm all right. The concern in his expression is impossible to miss. His brow is slightly furrowed. His ears are angled toward me, attentive, focused, as though carrying a half-frozen fox through the rain is currently the most important thing in the world. The realization does something stranger to my chest. A warmth settles there. Not physical warmth, something softer, something deeper. For the first time since the village burned, I feel seen. Not as another frightened survivor, not as a burden, not as a problem. Just me. The wolf seems to notice me staring. The concern in his expression remains. Then slowly, a faint smile touches his muzzle. The same smile from before. Small, gentle, reassuring. The kind of smile someone offers a frightened animal. The kind of smile that says everything is going to be all right, even when the world is given every reason to believe otherwise. The sight of it loosens something inside me. Not completely. The grief remains. The fear remains. The memories remain. But the sharpest edges begin to dull. I let out a shaky breath. The wolf's arms remain steady beneath me, one supporting my back, the other resting securely beneath my knees. His fur is warm, remarkably warm. The heat radiating from his body seeps slowly through my soaked clothing, through my damp fur, into muscles that have been trembling for hours. Every minute I spend in his arms seems to peel away a little more of the cold. Not enough to make me comfortable, not yet, but enough. Enough that my teeth stop chattering quite so often. Enough that the constant ache in my limbs begins to fade. Enough that exhaustion starts replacing panic. My eyelids feel heavy. The steady rhythm of his footsteps doesn't help. Step, step, step. Each movement produces a gentle sway. The motion is strangely soothing, almost hypnotic. The rain continues falling around us, a soft whisper beyond the shelter of his embrace. I can hear droplets striking leaves overhead, hear distant water flowing somewhere through the darkness, hear the faint rustle of branches moving in the wind. And beneath it all, I hear him breathing. Slow, steady, calm. The sound becomes an anchor, something solid, something dependable. I rest my head more fully against his chest. The thick fur there is slightly damp from the rain. It's still warm. My ears droop. My eyes begin drifting closed. The darkness behind them feels inviting, safe. I don't know how long I remain like that. Time has become meaningless. It could be minutes, it could be hours. The forest has blurred into an endless procession of rain and shadows. Occasionally, I open my eyes. I glimpse dark tree trunks passing by, a rocky hillside, a patch of moonlight filtering through the clouds. Then my eyes close again. The next time I look up, something has changed. The wolf is no longer moving. The gentle swaying has stopped. The realization pulls me slightly closer to wakefulness. I blink slowly. My vision takes a moment to focus. The rain still falls beyond us, but something looms ahead. Stone, dark, sheltering. I lift my head. The movement feels sluggish, heavy. The wolf glances down at me briefly before looking forward again. I follow his gaze. A rocky overhang emerges from the darkness. At first, I mistake it for part of the hillside. Then I see its shape. A shallow cave, or something close to one. The stone juts outward from the earth, creating a broad shelter beneath it. From most angles, it would be nearly invisible. The surrounding brush conceals it naturally. Ferns spill across portions of the entrance. Moss clings to damp stone. The shadows beneath the overhang blend seamlessly into the forest darkness. Anyone passing nearby could easily miss it. Yet, standing before it now, I can see how large it truly is. Large enough to stand comfortably inside. large enough to sleep in, large enough to shelter several people from the rain. The realization arrives immediately. This must be where he lives. Thought feels oddly intimate. I know almost nothing about him. Not his name, not where he came from, not why he chose to help me. Yet somehow I'm gazing at the entrance to his home. The wolf ducks slightly beneath the stone overhang. The sound of the rain changes instantly, softens, becomes distant, muted. The difference is startling. One moment the forest is filled with endless dripping water. The next it sounds as though the rain belongs to another world. The air beneath the shelter feels different, drier, warmer, safer. And then I see it, a faint orange glow near the back wall. My breath catches. The glow comes from a small fire, or rather, what remains of one. Most of the flames have long since vanished. Only embers remain, a bed of glowing coals nestled within a ring of carefully arranged stones. Tiny points of orange and red pulse softly within the darkness. Occasionally one brightens, then dims again, breathing, almost alive. The wolf kneels, slowly, carefully. His movements remain deliberate even now, as though he is afraid of startling me. One arm shifts behind my back, the other supports my legs. Then he gently lowers me toward the ground. My paws touch stone, then my back. Only then does he release me. The warmth disappears instantly, not entirely. The physical comfort of being held is suddenly gone. I hadn't realized how much I depended on it until now. I sink down beside the embers. The stone floor is cool to me. A collection of blankets and furs rests nearby, neatly arranged, simple, practical, lived in. Evidence that the shelter is more than a temporary refuge. The wolf's refuge, his home. The embers crackle softly. Tiny sounds, tiny sparks. Orange light flickers across the stone walls, across the wolf's dark fur, across my trembling paws. I stare at them. The warmth touches my face, my ears, the tip of my snoot, and suddenly my stomach twists. The orange light shifts, flickers, moves. For a brief moment, it stops looking like embers. For a brief moment, it becomes something else. Orange light, smoke, flames, my village. The memory slams into me without warning. A rooftop collapsing, fire spreading across dry thatch, sparks filling the sky, animals screaming, running, crying, the square glowing beneath impossible heat. My breath catches. The cave seems even smaller. The air feels thinner. The orange glow dances across my eyes. And all at once I am no longer looking at harmless embers. I am looking at fire, at destruction, at everything I lost. My ears flatten against my head. My claws tighten against the stone. A tremor runs through my body. The warmth that moments ago felt comforting suddenly feels frightening. The embers crack softly, a tiny sound. Yet I flinch anyway. The memory is too fresh, too raw, too close. I stare into the glowing coals, unable to look away, caught somewhere between the safety of this shelter and the nightmare still burning inside my mind. And across from me, illuminated by the gentle orange glow, the black-furred wolf watches quietly. Not speaking, not interrupting, simply watching, as though he understands exactly what those embers might remind me of, and exactly how difficult this moment truly is. The tremor has barely begun before the wolf moves. Not quickly, not suddenly, just immediately, as though he had been expecting it, as though he understands the memory waiting behind my eyes the moment I looked at the embers. He crosses the shelter in only a few strides. Orange light dances across his charcoal fur. Shadows slide over the powerful lines of his shoulders. The wolf kneels beside me. Close, but not too close that I feel crowded. One large paw reaches toward a folded bundle resting near the wall. A fur pelt, thick, dense, soft-looking even in the dim light. He shakes it out once. The moment sends a faint puff of dry scent into the air. Clean fur, wood smoke. The the comforting smell of something that has been used many times. He spreads it beside the embers, carefully positioning it where the warmth reaches strongest. Then he looks at me. His crimson eyes flick briefly toward the pelt, an invitation, gentle, patient. I hesitate only a moment before scooting toward it. The fur compresses beneath me, warm, softer than I expected. After hours spent in the mud, rain, and cold earth, the sensation feels almost luxurious. Before I can fully settle, another weight touches my shoulders. I flinch, then I realize what it is. A blanket. The wolf wraps it around me with surprising care. The thick fabric settles across my back, around my arms, over my lap, trapping precious warmth. For a moment, I simply sit there, blinking, trying to process how different everything feels. Not long ago, I was hiding beneath a dripping brush, certain I would spend the night freezing alone. Now I am wrapped in a blanket, beside a fire, inside a hidden shelter. The contrast feels unreal. The wolf rises. For the first time since finding me, he walks away, not far, only disappearing briefly into a darker section of the shelter beyond the firelight. The moment he leaves my immediate sight, a small knot of anxiety forms in my chest. The reaction surprises me. I barely know him, yet somehow his presence has already become reassuring. A few seconds later, he returns. A ceramic pitcher rests in one hand. Rainwater beads across its surface. The wolf kneels again, then extends it toward me. I stare for a moment, only now realizing how thirsty I am. My throat feels like dry bark. I accept the pitcher with both paws. The ceramic is cool against my fur. The wolf waits patiently while I lift it. The water touches my tongue. Cold, clean, fresh. I drink immediately. The first swallow almost hurts. The second feels better. By the third, I realize just how desperately I need it. I drink slowly, carefully, trying not to empty the entire thing at once. The rainwater tastes faintly of stone, of sky, of the forest itself. When I finally lower the pitcher, I release a long breath. My throat no longer burns. My head feels clearer. The wolf watches quietly. The faintest smile touches his muzzle when he sees me finish. I clutch the pitcher against my chest. Thank you. The words leave me softly, hoarse, small. The wolf dips his head once, nothing more. Yet somehow the gesture feels warm. While I continue holding the pitcher, he turns toward the fire. Only now do I notice a neat stack of split logs resting against the stone wall. Dry, protected from the weather, prepared in advance. The wolf retrieves 2 of them effortlessly. Each piece looks heavy. He handles them as though they weigh nothing. The logs settle atop the embers. For a few moments, nothing happens. Then faint orange light appears beneath them. A crackle follows, tiny at first, then stronger. The fire begins waking up. The shelter grows warmer almost immediately. Not dramatically, just enough. Enough that I notice. Enough that the blanket around my shoulders starts feeling genuinely comforting instead of merely necessary. The wolf returns once more, this time carrying a leather satchel. He crouches beside me, opens it, and reveals nuts and dried berries. The smell reaches me instantly. Sweet, nutty, earthy. My stomach clenches so hard it almost hurts. I hadn't realized how hungry I was. Not really. Fear had buried the feeling beneath everything else. Now that I am warm and safe enough to notice, the hunger comes rushing back all at once. The wolf offers the satchel. I take a small handful. A few berries, a few nuts. The first bite nearly makes me close my eyes. Food. Simple food. Nothing special. Yet after everything that happened today, it feels extraordinary. I chew slowly, savoring every bite. The berries are slightly tart. The nuts are rich and filling. Each mouthful eases another layer of weakness from my body. The wolf settles a few feet away while I eat. Not hovering, not crowding me, just watching. His crimson eyes remain calm, attentive, making sure I eat, making sure I drink, making sure I am all right. The realization stirs something inside me, a feeling I haven't experienced since before the village burned. Being cared for. When the last berry disappears, I hand the satchel back. My stomach is still far from full, yet already I feel better, more alive, less hollow. The wolf sets the satchel aside. Then he moves, not toward the fire, toward me. He sits beside the fur pelt, close enough that I can feel his warmth, close enough that I can smell the familiar scent of rain and forest lingering in his fur. Earth, wood, river water. Safe. The wolf glances down at me, then taps lightly against his side. A simple gesture. His meaning is obvious. Lean here. Rest. Let me hold you. My ears twitch. A tiny part of me hesitates. Not because I fear him. Not anymore. The hesitation comes from something else. Vulnerability. Trust. The realization that accepting comfort feels strangely difficult after losing everything. The wolf waits, patient as always, never rushing, never demanding. Eventually, I shift closer. The movement feels awkward. My blanket bunches around me. My tail slides across the fur pelt. Then I lean. The wolf immediately adjusts. One powerful arm settles around my shoulders, careful, protective, gentle. I melt against him before I even realize it. The warmth is incredible. His body radiates heat. Not overwhelming, just steady, constant. The sort of warmth that reaches places blankets cannot. The sort of warmth that convinces exhausted muscles they can finally stop fighting. His chest rises and falls against me. Slow, steady. Each breath reminds me of how strong he is, how powerful. I can feel it now. The thickness of his arms, the breadth of his chest, the effortless strength that carried me through the forest for what felt like hours. The same strength that could probably overpower almost anyone. Yet not once have I felt threatened by it. Only protected, only safe. The distinction matters more than I can explain. The fire crackles softly nearby. Rain whispers beyond the shelter. Wind brushes against distant trees. The sound blurs together. My eyelids begin drooping. The exhaustion I have been fighting all night finally catches me. The battle is hopeless. My body has nothing left. I sink farther against the wolf. His arm tightens slightly, not restraining, supporting, holding, making certain I do not fall. The warmth, the food, the water, the shelter, the steady rise and fall of his breathing. Together they create something I haven't felt since sunrise. Peace. My eyes drift closed. The firelight glows red through my eyelids. The world becomes soft, distant, dreamlike. I feel the wolf shift slightly beside me, and something warm brushes against the top of my head. His muzzle, resting gently between my ears. The gesture is so unexpectedly tender that my chest aches. For a moment, neither of us moves. The fire crackles, rain falls beyond the stone shelter, the forest breathes around us. And then, for the first time since I met him, the wolf speaks clearly. His voice is deep, rich, gentle enough to blend with the rain, yet powerful enough that every word settles directly into my heart. You're safe here. The words linger in the darkness, simple, certain, absolute. And for the first time since the village burned, I believe them. My body relaxes completely. The last of my resistance slips away. The last of my fear begins to loosen its grip. Curled safely against the wolf's warmth, listening to the rain beyond the shelter and the steady beat of his heart beneath his chest, I finally allow sleep to claim me. And this time, I do not face the darkness alone.
Well, If anything, I bet you're feeling much better about the fox's situation now compared to the last video. The fox, he didn't know the wolf's intentions, but he took his paw, and the wolf took him to a safe place, as it turns out. In the end, the wolf kept the fox warm, fed, hydrated, and comforted. The fox could have rejected the wolf's paw. Maybe the wolf could have walked away instead. We don't know. To be honest, I don't even know. But let's remember, the fox had absolutely nothing left in his life. Everything was destroyed. The village was gone. He had no home to go back to. He was at rock bottom. Again, when he got nothing to lose. But this wolf took him in and seems to be giving him a second chance at life. And of course, what's going to happen the next day? We'll see. We don't know. In fact, at the time of recording, I don't even know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed these soft-spoken storytelling videos. If you want more of them, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you like my content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And as always, have yourself a wonderful day. Take good care of yourself. Cheers.